Damodar Svarup Dasa ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Prabhupāda Jai Shata Shishman A.C. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Gaura Vaishnava ki jai. Prince of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasani Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giridhar ki jai. Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai. Shri Jagadhara Subhadra Maharaj ki jai. Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Yamuna Maya ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. All glories to the Samal devotees. All glories to the Samal devotees. All glories to the Samal devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Ram Dasa, Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So, Hare Krishna everyone. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, Verse 29. The chapter is called Talks Between Narada and King Prachinabhaki. Kvachit, sometimes. Puman, male. Kvachit, sometimes. Cha, also. Stri, female. Kvachit, sometimes. Nam, not. Ubhayam, both. Anta, blind. Dihi, he whose intelligence. Devaha, demigod. Manushyaha, human being. Tiryak, animal, bird, beast. Va, or. Yatha, according to. Karma, of activities. Gunam, the qualities. Bhavaha, birth. Kvachit puman, kvachit chastri. Kvachino bhayam andadihi. Devo manushyastiryagva. Yatha karma gunam bhavaha. Kvachit puman, kvachit chastri. Kvachino bhayam andadihi. Devo manushyastiryagva. Yatha karma gunam bhavaha.
Kvachit puman kvachit chastri.
Kvachit puman kvachit chastri.
Kvachino bhayam andadihi.
Kvachino bhayam andadihi.
Devo manushyastiryagva
Devo manushyastiryagva
Yatta karma gunam bhavaha
Yatta karma gunam bhavaha. Mataji's.
Kvachit puman, kvachit chastri.
Kvachit puman, kvachit chastri.
Kvachino bhayamandhahi.
Kvachino bhayamandhahi.
Devo manushyastiryagva.
Devo manushyastiryagva
Yatha karma gunam bhavaha.
Yatta karma gunam bhavaha.
Kvachit puman, kvachit chastri.
Kvachit puman, kvachit chastri.
Kvachino bhayam andhavihi.
Kvachino bhayamandhahi.
Devo manushyastiryagva.
Devo manushyastiryagva
Yatha karma gunam bhava.
Yatta karma gunam bhavaha. Covered by the mode of ignorance in material nature, the living entity is sometimes a male, sometimes a female, sometimes a eunuch, sometimes a human being, sometimes a demigod, sometimes a bird, an animal, and so on. In this way, he is wandering within the material world. His acceptance of different types of bodies is brought about by his activities under the influence of the mode of nature. Purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Actually, the living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. Therefore, he is spiritual in quality. The living entity is never material, and his material conception is simply a mistake due to forgetfulness. He is as brilliant as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Both the sun and the sunshine are very brilliant. The Lord is like the full shining sun, and the living entities are like small particles of that sun, which constitute the all-pervasive sunshine. When these small particles are covered by the cloud of Maya, they lose their shining capacity. When the cloud of Maya is gone, the particles again become brilliant and shining. As soon as the living entity is covered by the ignorance of Maya, or darkness, he cannot understand his relationship with the Supreme God. Somehow or other, if he comes before the Lord, he can see himself shining like the Supreme Lord, although he is not as extensive as the Lord. Because the living entity desires to imitate the Supreme Lord, he is covered by Maya. He cannot imitate the Lord, nor can we become the Supreme Enjoyer. This is not possible, and when we think it is, we become conditioned by Maya. Thus, the engagement of the living entity under the clutches of Maya is brought about by forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord. Under the influence of Maya, the living entity becomes exactly like a person haunted by a ghost. Such a person speaks all kinds of nonsense. When the living entity is covered by the influence of Maya, he becomes a so-called scientist, philosopher, politician, or socialist, and at every moment presents different plans for the benefit of human society. All these plans are ultimately failures, because they are illusory. In this way, the living entity forgets his position as an eternal servant of the Lord. He instead becomes a servant of Maya. In any case, he remains a servant. It is his misfortune that by forgetting his real contact with the Supreme Lord, he becomes a servant of Maya. As servant of Maya, he sometimes becomes a king, sometimes an ordinary citizen, sometimes a brahmana, a shudra, and so on. Sometimes he is a happy man, sometimes a prosperous man, sometimes a small insect. Sometimes he is in heaven and sometimes in hell. Sometimes he is a demigod and sometimes he is a demon. Sometimes he is a servant and sometimes he is a master. In this way, the living entity wanders all over the universe. Only when he comes in contact with the bona fide spiritual master can he understand his real constitutional position. He then becomes disgusted by the material existence. At that time, in full Krishna consciousness, he regrets his past experiences in material existence. This regret is very beneficial because it purifies the living entity of material conditional life. He then prays to the Lord to engage in his service. And at that time, Krishna grants liberation from the clutches of Maya. Lord Krishna explains this in Bhagavad Gita 7:14. Daihesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayamitam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Only by the grace of Krishna can one get out of the clutches of Maya. It is not possible to get out by mental speculation or other activities. When the living entity understands his real position by the grace of Krishna, he keeps himself always fit in Krishna consciousness and acts accordingly. Thus, he gradually becomes completely free from the clutches of Maya. When he is strong in Krishna consciousness, Maya cannot touch him. In this way, in the association of Krishna conscious devotees, the living entity can get free from the contamination of material existence. In this connection, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Tate Krishna Bhaje, Kare Gurara Sivana, Maya Jala Chute, Paya Krishnera Charana. In the Krishna conscious state, the living entity engages in devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master. In this way, he gets out of the clutches of Maya and takes shelter under the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Om Gyan Tinakasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshudamritam Vina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutani Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasa Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll read the text again. Covered by the mode of ignorance in the material nature, the living entity is sometimes a male, sometimes a female, sometimes a eunuch, sometimes a human being, sometimes a demigod, sometimes a bird, an animal, and so on. In this way, he is wandering within the material world. His acceptance of different types of bodies is brought about by his activities under the influence of the modes of nature. So here we have a conversation between Narada Muni and King Prachinabarhi, where King Prachinabarhi asks to explain the story of Puranjana that Narada Muni was telling him, and that was a very, very interesting story, very relevant to nowadays also, because this is what the living entities are performing. They're basically engaged in sense gratification and then get further births and deaths. So Narada Muni speaks about the modes of nature and the temporary nature of the material reality. He picks up the problem. For some it may be not a problem, but from Krishna conscious perspective it is a problem. That we're, circulating in this world of matter, the samsara, and we get influenced by the gunas, and gunas dictate to us our actions, which gets further reactions, which get further actions, and further reactions, etc. So it's like a carousel, really. So the carousel, when you see, now it's winter time, you can see some carousels around. People are getting on it, and they're rotating, and they think it's fun, going up and down, the horses and some cars maybe there, or some animals. So it seems like fun, and the living entities, they may seem like going up and down in this material world is fun until they realize it's not. So that's the problem, realizing that it's actually not so much fun anymore, and we need to do something about it. So that's the problem that Narada Muni brings up. The source of this problem is here described as the modes of nature. Interesting fact that the biggest topic of Bhagavad Gita is the modes of nature. So out of 700 verses, 120 verses are dedicated to this topic, the modes of nature. And it's a very important topic to understand if we want to progress in spiritual life, actually. So that's why Krishna speaks, he dedicates the whole 14th chapter for the modes of nature, and he elaborates in other places of the Bhagavad Gita on this. And Narada Muni also picks this up. He speaks about the modes of nature. And Krishna also speaks about it. Srila Prabhupada quotes, Davihyesha gunamai mama maya duratya mam eva ye prapadite mayam etam taranti. So Krishna even admits that this Davihyesha gunamai, this divine energy of mine, consisting of these three modes, is very difficult to overcome. He speaks about it openly with Arjuna. He says it's difficult. Why? Because it's divine energy. It's not just some kind of a obstacle in life that you need to overcome. It's a divine energy of Krishna, and you cannot overcome it just with your own will. It's very difficult, Krishna says. So Srila Prabhupada starts this commentary with his ordinary and very strong point, as usual, that we are not this body. Yeah? It says, actual living entity is part and parcel of the Lord, which means that we are spirit souls, we're spiritual by nature. And that's the kind of a paradox about the whole situation, that we are here in this material world and we're not supposed to be here, and that's why we're suffering. But our real constitutional position is spiritual. And Srila Prabhupada speaks about the fact that the spirit soul is as brilliant as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we speak about brilliance, what do we think about? What do we imagine? Like, we speak about the soul being brilliant. Brilliant is another word for diamond, right? So diamond is, what are the qualities of diamond? It is shining, right? It is precious. It is, it is multi-framed. Yeah, there are so many different angles behind the diamond, and it is very beautiful as well, and very expensive, very expensive. So we are like that also. Prabhupada says we are like brilliant, yeah, as brilliant as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By nature, by our spiritual nature, we are also brilliant. And what about the soul? What do we know about it in general? Do we know anything about the soul? What are the qualities of the soul? Does anyone know?
It's eternal.
Eternal.
You cannot cut it by anybody.
Yes. So you cannot kill it. It's eternal. Yes. Anything else?
Full of bliss and knowledge.
Full of bliss and knowledge. Thanks. Anything else? Anyone knows? That's Satchitananda. Yeah, we mentioned. Yeah. Anything else we know about the soul?
It's 10,000 of a tip of the hair.
Yes, it's 1/10, 10,000th of the tip of the hair. It's very small, very minute. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
It is by nature godly.
Godly by nature. Yes. What does it mean, godly by nature?
That we are a part of the Supreme God.
We are part, yeah, yes.
Individual, tiny beings.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, we're part of the Supreme. Okay. Anything else?
У Господа есть 64 качества. И если их взять за 100%, то душа владеет качеством 78%.
So the God has 64 qualities, and the soul contains or is able to achieve 78% of these 64 qualities. So he has got many qualities, right? At least 64 is explained, and we mentioned like 3 or 5, right now. So there are much more qualities the soul has actually. Anything else that one can think of? What can be, the qualities of the soul?
It is the Tatastha Shakti, or the marginal potency of the Lord.
Okay, it is Tatastha Shakti. It means that it can go under the influence of material nature or spiritual nature. So it's also a part of that. We are minute, kind of. Yeah? Anything else?
And has within himself, the DNA that can be happy by serving the Lord, although it's Tatastha Shakti. So this DNA is within the spiritual soul, covered.
So constitutional position of the soul is to serve and be happy with
to be happy by serving the Lord. We need to discover that DNA.
Yes, good point. Thank you.
It's Satchitananda as the word.
Yes, Satchitananda. Yeah. How about its shining potency? Like when we see people shining, when their eyes are shining, we see through their eyes their soul, right? We see, oh, he's shining or she's shining, right? How about the aspect of inspiration, that the soul is always inspired to serve, right? Isn't it the quality of the soul? That she's always inspired, or he is always inspired? Yeah, anything else?
Also in the commentary it is said that in the association of devotees, this shining potency can be, I don't know what was said, but I'm thinking about the spark of the fire when it comes to the wet field, that's this material world, just vanquish, or what is the real world.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the favorable field that is fiery, starts to be fired up, how to say. So this is also what you said, and Prabhupada is speaking about the association of devotees. It's favorable for reviewing our own sparkling, maybe, nature.
Yeah. So the soul has to associate with like-minded in order to realize itself, its spiritual potency, as Prabhupada says in commentary as well. Yes? Okay. Getting somewhere. What about, we spoke about happiness, right? The soul is happy as well. So, when we forget about our true nature, why not try to meditate on these qualities? Mahatma Prabhu actually mentioned that he's compiling a kind of a book or something like about I am affirmations right now, and he basically searched through all the database of what Prabhupada mentions about the soul, and all these things are mentioned. It's happy, inspiring, shining, things like that. And then he said, so why not to, transform them into I am affirmations. So like, I am everlasting, I am happy, I am cheerful, I am brilliant. Isn't this something that could be, inspiring when we forget, when we get down, when our mind is a little bit, not happy with our situation, then it can give a sense of completeness, of connection with Krishna, that actually Krishna is always in my heart, and I'm not lacking anything, everything is already there. And it gives a sense of content. It can, at least, if we meditate productively, so to speak. So it helps to come down. And the problem here is that we're losing our shining capacity, and that's Srila Prabhupada says the reason for that is the cloud of Maya, like it's covering the sun, and we don't see the sun anymore. And the deeper meaning behind this is, of course, that we have our desires that we cannot blame Maya for covering us. It's us who want Maya, and therefore it is covering us. So Maya is only, it's kind of fulfilling the desire that we have, or through Paramatma, the Maya acts. And but if we want to get out of this, of the influence of Maya, of the clutches of Maya, Srila Prabhupada says associating is important, because different people can project different things upon us, and we may start believing these things, because people, they live in their world, and then they tend to project things which are relevant to them. And if we think that we are the body, then we start projecting the same on others. So, and therefore, if we are the body, then the whole new paradigm of our life begins, that we live like a body. And that's why Srila Prabhupada always starts with the fact that we are not this body. So, the constitutional position of the soul is that it is happy, and we can conclude from this, if a devotee is not happy in his Krishna conscious life, then it is said that his shine is covered by the cloud of Maya. He cannot emanate this happiness anymore. He's forgetful, right? So I thought we could speak a little bit about how gunas keep us hankering to this material world. Yeah? If Krishna says that this topic is quite important, then we may want to go deeper in that and discover what's behind this. And we know that there is two Shaktis of the material nature. There is Avaranatmika Shakti and there is Prakshapatmika Shakti. So Avaranatmika Shakti means that that potency of covering the Supreme Soul, right? So covering. And Prakshapatmika means that it's dragging down. So even when the soul wants to get out of the clutches, still Prakshapatmika Shakti acts and then it drags down. And Srila Prabhupada gives an example like a police. If someone has committed a sin and he wants to walk around the city freely, he would not be able to do this. The police will drag him to the prison. So that's the nature of Maya, that it's dragging down. And there's another example of how crabs are boiling in a pan. Sometimes they want to get out of this pan. And what do the other crabs do? They drag him down, right? So, like that, sometimes even our own fellow friends can drag us down. These fellow friends can be our habits in life. Yeah? So, therefore, it's important to regulate our habits so that they don't drag us down. And then the nature of Maya, we know it's illusion, right? And to understand how the Maya acts is something like understanding the illusionist. You know how illusionist, when he performs his tricks, you know, it may seem like, wow, this is something amazing. How he did that? He's a magician or something. But everyone knows that he's not. It's actually just a trickery of his hands, right? But still, everyone likes to see, oh wow, this trick is amazing how he does it. So, but there's an interesting effect. When you understand, or when someone explains you this trick, you think, oh, that's how he does it. So it's not any more interesting. You know, you're no longer, bewildered by this. You're no longer inspired even by this. It's not interesting to you anymore. So the same happens when we understand how Maya acts. So Maya is like an illusionist to us, you know. It gives us different kinds of benefits, gives us different kinds of tastes of material life. It says that, oh, this thing is very attractive, please go for it. And you think, oh yeah, it's very nice, I should go for it. And then when you go for it, then you realize that, well, there's nothing about it, not so much. It's not so, it's not so inspiring anymore. Because you got this taste, and it's not taste anymore. So Avaranatmika Shakti, how it acts, the covering potency. One of the ways how it acts, it creates a sense of stability in our life. So, sense of stability, how does it happen? So the influence of material world, we know that in the material world there's 3 gunas, we speak about them, sattva, rajas and tamas, and they create the illusion of permanence and stability through their cyclic nature. How is that happening? So, one way how it happens is through repetition and predictability. So, when we see day, night, seasons, birth, death, we see that this is a repetitive thing, and we may think, well, it's regular. It creates a sense of, okay, so if today is day, then there will be tomorrow day. If the night will come, then there will be another night. Then the winter will come, and we know that there is this cycle, right? And it's quite predictable, right? And the repetition, and it may seem like, okay, this world is quite stable, yeah? It's something that is predictable. Even though the individual elements in these cycles are very unpredictable. So you may think, okay, the summer will come, then I will go to wherever, have a nice vacation. But you go there, and there's whole week raining, and you're no longer able to enjoy. So even though it's predictable, there is unpredictability in that aspect as well. It also creates the perception of continuity. So continuity is when we think like the cycle of seasons make it seem like the world is unchanging. So continuous entity, it will always go on like that. We see the birth and death, we see all these nights, season changing, so it's continuous, right? We think that it's gonna go on like that forever. So it creates a sense of stability to us. But with that, we are overlooking also the flow and the flux of every moment. We kind of think, okay, it's ongoing, but it creates kind of a feeling like, okay, it's going to happen like that always, right? Tomorrow never dies, we say. So I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then we kind of, we become very content. We come into this, comfort zone, that everything is fine, everything is stable, don't worry, And then the other aspect is comfort in familiarity. So because cycles provide sense of order right? So we may think, okay, there is some order in the universe. And then we become familiar. Jaga, Shi, Gorita, Ki, Jaga, Ki. So this way, we think that it's quite stable, yeah, the material world, and it's not actually. There is a sense of stability, but when you think like that, when you think you know all about this world, then something will go wrong completely, and then you figure out, no, actually I missed something. And then the other way how these gunas act, that they create. They form like attachment and create illusion of bodily identification. So how do they create attachment? So in Sattva Guna, it's predominated by purity, knowledge, and goodness. And what attachment could be here? Because gunas, they affect our minds, affect our lives, and then someone is in Sattva Guna, he can be attached to this Sattva Guna. And what could he be attached to? He could be attached to virtuous and uplifting experiences. He likes, the effect of, for example, spiritual life. Like he likes when everything goes smoothly, and then he thinks, okay, I am enjoying this sense, I'm enjoying this state, so I'm going to be attached to that. The other way how a person can be attached in Sattva Guna is when he or she has got a Brahminical nature and he starts guiding others, and others may think, okay, this person is such a nice, knowledgeable person, he's guiding me, and you may think, yeah, I'm such a nice Brahmana, I'm changing people's lives, I'm doing good for others. So you attach to this sense of a little bit pride and controlling maybe as well. So people love me when I give good advices, so you kind of enjoy that as well, you enjoy that appraisal. So that could be attachment in Sattva Guna. In Raja Guna, that is associated with passion and desire for activity. What could be attachments here? Does anyone have any idea? What could we be attached in the Sattva Guna? It's Raja Guna, sorry. Raja Guna.
To working hard.
Why would we work? Why would we attach to that? To working hard? It's a valid point. But why?
For sense enjoyment.
Yeah, because when we work, we enjoy the fruits of actions, right? So therefore, when we get these fruits and we like the results, then we're enjoying them, and then we think, okay, I've enjoyed this much, so more I should do something else to enjoy even more. Right? So that's how Maya acts. It gives us more impetus to act. And that's confirmed. Constant pursuit of desires. And then what do we get attached to as well? What other things can we get attached to?
Macht.
Huh?
Macht.
Macht? What's that?
Power.
Power. Exactly. Power. Yeah, when we achieve things, we get respect, right? We enjoy. And others, when we control other things, we think that we are the controllers. And this is very powerful. People think sometimes, people say that the taste of money has even smaller influence than the taste of controlling. So we can have the taste of money, we have so much things, but when we have the taste of controlling things, influencing things, that's even a stronger desire. And it keeps us hankering even more. Now we go to tamas. How can tamas keep us attached to it. It is characterized by inertia, ignorance, and darkness. So what could be attachments in Tamaguna? How does Maya keep us involved in Tamaguna? Anyone has any ideas?
Lamentation. Like I can lament and feel some pleasure out of this.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point. Yes. So when we lament, we may enjoy that lamentation. Why would we want to enjoy that?
Because it kind of, how you say, it reinforces my false ego and my mental whatever is going on. It's just putting me in the center, and somehow it gives me some pleasure.
Yeah, something that you would think, why would people enjoy lamentation? But it's, you get self-centered in that feeling, and you start enjoying that, and that's actually tamas. So I think Bhakti Goswami Maharaji explained that sometimes we get into depressive states and we think, we stay in that state. We kind of, we start enjoying that. It's hard to explain like how we would want to enjoy the depression. But we may think like, okay, yeah, I'm so fallen, I'm not worthy, and you get all these thoughts in yourself, and of course you may have failed some things, but these failures, when you start cycling them one after another in your mind, then it brings you down. It makes you not Krishna conscious anymore. So that's tamaguna. It actually drags you down. And very interesting how this works. Anything else?
Psychologists often say about position of victim, and I think it's somehow connected with this to lament and to put yourself in the center, but not actually wanting to change it. So just like thinking that I'm so special, I'm victim, and all these things happening around me, just like I can blame them, but I don't need to think about how can I act in a better way. So I'm just in this state of ignorance and not wanting to change it.
Position of victim, when someone enjoys the position of victim, anything else?
Also in this connection, I was hearing some time ago, there's a lot of movies which deal with a lot of negative stuff and negative emotions, and people spend money to sit in the cinema or watch that, and because it gives them some happiness, somehow that confrontation with suffering, it stimulates something in them where they feel they're alive. This person is suffering so much, and look what they go through, and somehow it gives them a stimulation.
Yeah, they go and watch horror movies or something else. Tamagumi, okay, yeah. Some action is happening, so...
And it's very intense emotions that get triggered in you.
Very interesting. Prabhu?
Получается, в этом материальном мире есть только один стержень и одна любовь. Любовь, она божественна. Получается, Господь дал на мир материальный искру своего великолепия. И эту искру Он поделил на разные вкусы. Допустим, там в таком созвездии атома, там это рука, такой вкус, помидор такой вкус, огурец такой вкус, огурец там черный такой вкус, побитый такой вкус. И получается, в этот стержень гуны любой, там, тама, гуны, раджа, вот этот стержень, он, дает вкус. Вот я руку поднял, да, а мне включили вкус 115. Я там раз туда, 117, раз туда, и это все вкусы включаются, и вот даже я стою на похоронах, мне включают вкус там 119. Я говорю, так поховали хорошо вообще. Чего же он умер там? Это все из-за того, что просто вкусы. А есть только вкус один, он божественный. А если человеку на душе тяжело, это не из-за того, что вообще-то вот это горе, оно не существует. Там просто нету вкуса.
So Prabhu is saying that it's the taste that the material nature gives us different tastes, and that's why we get attached to them, as far as understood. Okay, yeah.
But they all coming from.
But they're all coming from the God, yeah, and then they get kind of perverted reflection, so to speak. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Personally, Tamaguna also is missing so many things, but is overwhelmed by lethargy, so doesn't want to endeavor to gain things, so it just is satisfied how it is.
Yeah, it's an inertia, right?
Inertia, yeah.
So a person doesn't want to do anything, so lethargy, yeah. And we can enjoy the sleeping kind of, right? This kind of inertia. We can enjoy. We can get attached to the comfort zone. We don't want to meet any challenges in life. You know, when the challenges come, you say, it's not for me. I just avoid these challenges. You know, you get attached to your comfort zone, and you don't want to meet them. So that's influence of Tamaguna. It also, the gunas also fuel our kind of presence in this samsara. They influence our action by giving more taste and inspiration. Yeah. So when we are affected by some guna, we will always find the like-minded people who will say, "Yeah, you have done the right choice." You know, even if you go to, I don't know, horror movie club or you know, any other club like cyclist club or any other club. Every club will tell you you have done the best choice in your life, and it will inspire you to continue with that. So that's how, the gunas, they fuel up our desires. Right? It's not saying, okay, you have this desire, just forget about it, just go to Krishna. No, it fuels up. It says, yeah, continue, go on. And then it creates limitation of perception. So when we are affected by gunas, we actually see the world, see the reality not as it is, but as we want to see it. It is actually, there is such an effect, it's called observer effect. I don't know if you've heard in science, when a researcher's expectations or beliefs unconsciously influence the outcome of the experiment. You know, because you have certain expectations. You try to do an objective experiment, and you try to research something, but because you have certain vision, you have certain expectation over this research, then this affects the outcome of the research. So we actually see the world not as we are, but not as it is, but as we are. And the researches that we do, you know, people make conclusions that, okay, if I know that it's impossible to live without eating meat, if I know this already, and then I try to make a research, is it possible to live without meat? Then of course you're gonna find these conclusions that will tell you that it's impossible to live without meat. So therefore, your whole research will be based on your expectation about the outcome. Yeah?
In Germany we say, die Eifersucht, die mit Eifer sucht.
What does it mean? It's expectation.
It's exactly this point. You see this what you want to see.
You see what you want to see, right? You have the kind of wishful thinking.
Eifersucht, die mit Eifer sucht.
Yeah. So that's how. That's how. You want to say something?
Получается, вот здесь, в этом мире, горе от ума. Если даже брать, типа не духовную жизнь, а просто даже материальную, то я помню, когда работал директором, да, и было очень тяжело там на фильме это все воспроизводить. Я просто бегал на круг, и оно все уходило, и ты, не сменялось. Тоже очень важно вот это движение.
In this world there is lamenting from our own mind, and sometimes when we face too much suffering and we cannot really digest it, it's better to work it out through your bodies. For example, I was working in some company and I was not understanding my tasks. They were not like ideal boss and so on. But I was doing a lot of running, and it helped me to go through this kind of ignorance.
И почему важно, вот это когда идет киртан, да? Петь Харе Кришна и танцевать. Очень танцевать важно, очень. Это просто...
And that's why it is very important to dance in the kirtan, because this physical activity also helps you to break through this kind of ignorance.
Thank you. Yeah, so Prabhu was saying basically that it's all the suffering comes out of the mind, and when you learn how to affect this mind with some physical exercises or something like that, like dancing in kirtan or running or doing some physical exercises, then you can overcome at least some effects. Can we do another 5 minutes? Is that okay? Yeah. It's okay. Because I wanted to say, Srila Prabhupada raises another point. We speak about the gunas, right? But how to get out of the clutches of the gunas? And Srila Prabhupada says, only when he comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master can he understand his real constitutional position. He then becomes disgusted with material existence. At that time, in full Krishna consciousness, he regrets his past experiences in material existence. This regret is very beneficial because it purifies the living entity of material conditional life. He then prays to the Lord to engage in his service, and at that time Krishna grants liberation from the clutches of mind. So the first step, Srila Prabhupada says, is understand real constitutional position. And what is our real constitutional position?
Service.
Dasa, dasa, and dasa, yes. We are servants of the servants of the servants. So we are minute, it's a first step to get out of the clutches of mind. If we want to get out, we should understand that we are dasa, dasa, and dasa. And only by the grace of Krishna can one get out of the clutches of mind. It is not possible to get out of by mental speculation or other activities. When the living entity understands his real position by the grace of Krishna, he keeps himself always fit in Krishna consciousness and acts accordingly. So, path to sincerity and honesty. Like, path to mercy is through sincerity and honesty. Right? So we need that to understand our real position. And His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, he said one thing. He said, when we become honest, then we have a chance to become humble. To be honest is not so easy because we're so used to cheating others and we're so used to cheating ourselves, we believe our own lies. But if we actually become honest, then the result will be humility. So humility is our constitutional position, actually. So the way how to become, to attain this constitutional position is through humility. And Prabhupada said the most dangerous form of deception is self-deception. So when we are so much used to trick others, that we're already not realizing that we're tricking ourselves, that we're deceiving ourselves. So, one way how to achieve this constitutional position is through honesty, right? So this is step towards getting out of the clutches of Maya. And so to be humble, is we can do that through honesty, and we can also perform these actions through perform certain actions to achieve the humility. And Unfortunately, we don't have so much time to speak about these actions, but I'll just mention a few, just to give us a taste. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, he speaks about 13 ways how we can become humble in our lives, 13 paths. He says, try to talk as little as possible, mind your own business, do not meddle in other people's business. So that's one way how we can become humble. Accept comments and criticism with gratitude and joy, ignore other people's mistakes. So when we accept criticism as joy and we don't pay attention to other people's mistakes. Third, to accept offenses and injustices without complaint. So when something unjust happens to us, we don't complain. That's how we can practice humility. Be calm when you are neglected, forgotten, or unloved. That's a tough one, right? When we are not paid attention to in our lives, we tend to say, hey, here I am, please, I am here, please pay attention to me, right? So, but if we want to practice humility, we can practice calmness when we are neglected. Just be content. The other thing, do not seek to be liked or admired by others. Always be kind and gentle, even if someone tries to make you mad. Do not strive for ranks and titles. Always yield in an argument, even if you're right. Yield means give way. Yeah? So if there's an argument, even if you're right, just give it. That's hard one as well, at least for me. But we can try. Maybe I'll just mention two more out of 13. So number 6 is always choose the worst place, the hardest job, and the most difficult path. That can help you achieve humility. The proud relies only on himself, the humble is governed by God. Pride is the source of all vices, humility is the mother of all virtues. So we don't only think that everything depends on us. Yeah, if we think that, that's not humility. And the other aspect of humility is, just 2 more minutes, is constitutional position, is to attain qualification. Lord Chaitanya gave us the 3rd point in Shikshashtakam, right? Trinada Pisanishana, Tarora Pisanishana. So if you want to chant the holy name constantly, there is a certain qualification you need to achieve. That's qualification. You cannot just chant holy name by your own will. You need to have a qualification. And what is that qualification? It's humility, right? And how does this humility come to us? It's very important to understand actually that this humility, this qualification is actually by understanding our disqualification. So when we understand that we are disqualified, then we become qualified. And that's the last point that I wanted to bring up, that to understand this humility, it's a mercy. We cannot achieve it by ourselves. When we associate with devotees, when we serve Krishna, Srila Prabhupada says, only by grace of Krishna can one get out of the clutches of Maya. When the living entity understands his real position, by the grace of Krishna, he keeps himself always fit in Krishna consciousness. So we have to pray for association with very advanced devotees who understand their disqualification. Like Haridas Thakur prays, I am lower than the lowest. Right? We may think, okay, I will just meditate now how I am lower of the lowest, and then I will achieve this humility. But no, that doesn't work like that. That's actually mercy from the Vaishnavas, from Guru and from Krishna. It's not a mental state, it's a mood that we need to acquire from other Vaishnavas. When we see the humility of other Vaishnavas, we may pray for them that they can also help us achieve that. And it's not something that we can achieve ourselves. We can practice that, what was mentioned by Sonya's Radha Maharaj, all these things, we can practice that, but it doesn't grant that we're going to achieve it. It's just going to help us. So it's a mercy, and it's very important to understand that humility, achieve the state of humility is mercy. And when we achieve that, Krishna says, or Srila Prabhupada says in the commentary, and Lord Chaitanya says, we can chant the holy names constantly, and Srila Prabhupada says, we get fixed in Krishna consciousness. So that's a way how to get out of the clutches of mind and get fixed. So, humility. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ratarasham Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaura Prabhu.
Hare Gaura.
Thank you.
Praise Damodar Svarup Dasa ki jai.
Можно еще насчет правды сказать? Ну вот это насчет правды, говорить правду.
About speaking the truth, you want to say something?
Да, допустим.
About honesty.
Я знаю там одну историю большую, но я потом ее расскажу лично. А так вообще, допустим, меня спрашивают, говорят, что а где живет Вася? Я говорю, Вася живет там, а Васю они ограбили. То что это за правда? Или нужно думать головой, что? Или как это понять?
Prabhu is asking, when we speak about truth, we can say when the robbers ask us, okay, where is this guy went, and you tell them the truth, this guy went there, then you're basically supporting the robbery of this guy. You know, and this guy gets robbed. And what is the point of this truth? Right? So that's the question. But we spoke not about truth, we spoke about honesty. And honesty, truth, and they have something in common. But honesty doesn't mean blind truth. Honesty means that you're honest essentially with Guru, with Krishna, and that you don't blindly tell the truth to anyone. You try to assess. Srila Prabhupada said, don't disturb the minds of people who don't want to accept Krishna consciousness. That means that we know the truth, but we don't disturb the minds, because we see that person is not able to accept it right now. So even though we know the truth, that he's not in a good situation, we don't tell it because it will disturb their minds. And that's also part of honesty, because we're trying to be honest with Krishna, sincere with Krishna, to understand, okay, Krishna, maybe he's not able to accept this at the moment, so I will just pray for him and do maybe something else for his advancement. Jai. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you. Where did you, it sounds kind of makes sense, but what's the reference for seeing things as regulate, you mentioned, seeing things in a certain regulated manner, consistency, so that's Damodar.
Yes.
So is there any reference for that?
I can find it.
Sure. It's nice because I was often, when I came to this having anxiety. But then,
what does it mean?
How does it?
Yeah.
What's the depth?
break down. Yeah, that's why I thought it's important to go a little bit further than just this.
This one,
Cover.
troublemaker. This one's I met here in the lecture looking at Jagannath and so they are kind of, these are what's really good Jagannath.
Ah, yes, actually. Yes.
The shape of the face, the other, the turban. Because the other Jagannaths, they look much different.
Yeah, because they're
Классно. Потом повыдержим, потом и что надо выкрутить.
Можно
First
просто...
they need to go into some much
Поэтому мы решили не носить.
okay.
А, вы будете носить.
That will be done in the shop.
Yeah, that's nice. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, I also sounds when the war started, that they just went to Ukraine. I can see whenever I traveled in India, or like many laboratories, they also had one. And then when they come here to the ashram, see them, oh, here's who was missing it again.
He's become a mother for missing
Yeah. Here's one more box down, here's one more box.
Where did they
And to Samathanam. And then to many devotees looking for protection.
But then he'll bring some back.
Yeah, they go first on the altar.
They will be offered.
And then they are called Apratibu deities. Apratibu is like Padakesa.
Yeah.
Then as the deities in Vrindavan, they are also Pratibu of the original deities, which are worshipped in Jaipur.
Nächste Woche.
But we know people, for example, if they are offered Missing Hadav in Simhacha, and we will be fortunate to somehow hear them. Do we also have to worship them? Like, we can just...
No, since they are like Pratibu deities, they are automatically worshipped with the main deity. So what the basic necessities are covered. They just put the extra effort.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow.
So that's why it's also easy to.
I will be waiting for one Missing Hadav.
Which style do you like? You like a more whitish one or black? Black. Or
Because he be like original as well. But the gray are also nice because you can see more details.
in
Yeah,
the
actually, yes.
in the Bhagavatam it says Nrsimhadev has white hair, white man. So that's why I'm also making some white.
Okay, then I have to think.
But the original the deity in Samathanam is black. So.
Yes, in my voice. Oh, okay. Did you see this Jagannath
From Zurich.
New Jagannath Puri. I see that Baladev has these eyes and superior and like their outfits also like.
Yeah, this form I make you in the lecture. Listen to the Thank you.
What? You made this form?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm also casting them.
But how do you like with knife or something?
Yeah.
Special tools? Wow.
First, I make with wax. Because wax is good, you can take away and you can add again. If you took too much away, you can put the wax and then you can start again. If you, because it's like also every goldsmith is also using wax. Wax is the most practical thing for it, and then after you make one, then you make a negative.
Yeah, okay.
And then from this negative, I make one deity, and then I see like all the like small mistakes in the surfaces of that. Then I edit this again, and then after this, then this one.
Then it goes to gold. Then it goes to gold.
For gold.
They say like when
Aha.
something's finished, and
Then it goes for gold.
Yeah, then it goes for gold.
Nice.
Sounds like more
Good help to the film.
Thank you, thank you.
That's all you see.
Nächste Woche ist da, was wir machen, ist auch sehr
So multi-talented.
Yes.
wenn es noch bestärken kann.
Yeah, that's another quality of the soul, talent. And it's also poetic.
But what Krishna says, I'm the ability in men. But then it's the soul.
Yeah, I think what Krishna says, you're a part and parcel of
Ja,
me.
das ist sehr sehen, das ist eine gewisse Verfügung, das früher
The soul gets inspired.
etwas so dieses Stecken.
That's a good question. Huh?
Yeah.
But Krishna is also inspiration. The soul is Krishna is soul. People also say that Krishna is Pranadhana, the soul.
The life.
Yeah, the life. So it doesn't mean that soul doesn't have life.
True. Okay. So the good has the argument.
Okay.
You're going back home?
Yeah. Oh, we're just going to take our son.
Okay, yes. Thank you. How long do you drive back?
In the morning, it's 1 hour and 5 minutes.
Wow.
1 hour and 10 minutes.
So at least
I always admire people who live out there and they come to the camp drive in 1 hour. But I don't want to afford to come here. It's so far.
But you constantly go to see each other. That's the same. You go to see each other.
Yeah, but then I stay for some days.
music. They're not even thinking about Krishna.
Thank you for coming. So that was nice to see you.
Staying and tolerating.
Remember, I
About some you know.
put an excuse. No, okay, no, but
Is it okay?
no, yeah, it was an honest because that are without and with okay, this is the
Ecstasy. Ecstasy. He's looking like that. So ecstasy. For me is ecstasy. Different, what is seeing different things. It's ecstasy. It's never, Kriyaj is never traveling. No. He's with,
Ich habe ihm heute extra ganz viele Tools in meinem Laden gegeben.
No, because he's never traveling. He's a happy person.
Yeah.
And I love the painting of Padmanabha.
Oh, thank you.
It's very, you have heart mouth.
Huh?
Kurmaji is very beautiful mouth.
Yeah.
I see his tongue.
Yeah, today I made that a bit with the color. If you put tilak, if it's still fresh and you put one dot of red, es zieht sich. Auch der sieht man hier Padmanabha, weil Blume Ende immer ein Punkt und dann zieht es so leicht rein zum leicht loser. Okay, danke.
He's never happy. Kriyaj is always happy with Krishna. He never. He's never separated from Krishna. He's always with Krishna.
In Israel verehren wir Giriraj als Krishna, oder?
Ja.
Und nicht als Vaishnava.
Ja, als Krishna. Ganz ist he's always happy with Jamuna, Gauri. His mind Giriraj always happy. I never saw his traveling.
No?
Because he's in Radha Govinda.
Ja, deine sind so.
He's like a relaxed Rangaji.
Rangaji.
Das
ist gut, Rangaji.
I put him since young. He's always graceful. He's so cute. Yeah, Giriraj is, I feel Giriraj is very special. He's always, he is appeared from Krishna. In Golokula, Vrindavan, read Karkasanjana and Giriraj Kant. That's a chapter in the Karka Rishi describes about how Giriraj is. Oh, he's not hard. He's the heart of Krishna.
So Krishna's heart is
happy, always happy. He's always happy. He's always happy. Seeing them.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama. Hare Rama.